The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
Now up to bat. Let's talk about this Justin Verlander IL stint. He goes, this gets dumped on opening day, which honestly is the smartest PR move that you could have made if you're the Mets.
It got dumped on us during the live stream.
I'll leave you with this question, Brendan. Is Justin Verlander's contract already a bust?
No.
Would you like to?
LJ was defending this man for the entire time he was hurt with Tommy John surgery and was like, yeah, just wait. He'll come back and be fine. And then, of course, he wins the Cy Young last year. No, of course not. Do you think Steve Cohen cares? Like, that's the thing. Steve Cohen genuinely does not care how much money he burns as long as the Mets win a World Series within the next, 5 to 10 years. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah, but this is all about rating the business moves.
Yeah, no, absolutely. As a business move, look, yeah, you gave a 2-year, $86 million contract
with a vesting option.
With a vesting option to a 40-year-old. Yeah, from an optics standpoint, it's not the greatest, but we haven't even seen him pitch yet. He said in the interview that he gave, after he went on the IL, that he'll be back. That's like calling, and I know it's not really a similar, but that's like calling the Carlos Rodon contract a bust already. And it's just because, look, they're not there at the start of the year. Justin Verlander could easily start 28 games this year, and we're not even talking about this. So, no, I don't think it's a bust. We got to at least let him go out there and pitch, which from the sounds of it will be fairly shortly. It's not a very bad injury, and it's Justin Verlander. I mean, come on. We already know he's going to go out there and shove.
I'm going to lean the opposite way here towards the fact that it is, a bust of a contract. And that doesn't change anything about the way I feel about Justin Verlander, one of my favorite players I've ever gotten to watch play. And, he 100% probably will be back and just as good as ever when he comes back from this. But at the end of the day, we're talking about a lot of money here. We're talking about $80 million over multiple years. And who knows how long a guy's body is going to be able to hold up in terms of keeping up with performance. For all we know, I've taken to the point now that especially after seeing last year, I'm just going to enjoy and appreciate Justin Verlander until it goes away. I'm not going to try to predict how long he's going to be able to stay out there. But my big issue here, my big worry, and why it very well could be a bust at this point is the fact that you look at Justin Verlander, here's a guy in his 40s. It's a lot harder to recover when you're in your 40s, especially muscles type stuff. And so it's not going to be a long recovery, but it could be longer than we expected it to. I could see a world where he does not start until May. And then all of a sudden, there's a month out of the season you needed because you know how good he is right now. You know how good he was last year. And so all of a sudden, he misses a month. That's a month where he could have had 5 starts that could have been absolutely great and added value. Every month, every start you lose this year counts double or triple towards his long-term contract value because you need to earn that money basically within the first year and a half that you're on a contract. That's the way I've always seen it with these older guys. You have to earn it in that first quarter or third of the contract value. And so he has a year to earn that $80 million, and he's already losing time on that, and who knows how quickly he's able to get back on track from that. That's a real scare towards it being a bust in my eyes.
Now, LJ, I have a question because I'm looking at the Mets rotation right now, and I see 5 pretty good starters, or at least starters that I've seen, be able to put up good numbers. And they have 2 better starters in Jose Quintana, and Justin Verlander currently on the IL. So when they both come back, Who were you taking out of this rotation? I think that the two locks are Max Scherzer and Kodai Senga. But then between David Peterson, sorry, oh my God, my throat. David Peterson, Tyler Megill, and Carlos Carrasco, who gets the short end of the stick here? Because you didn't go out and sign Jose Quintana to not make him a starter. And also Tyler McGill and David Peterson are two of your younger, actually, hoping that they turn into something, and they are pretty good. Where do you go from here? Do you just kick Carlos Carrasco to the curb and just say, hey, look, we appreciate what you've done, but we're going to have to make you the long guy out of the bullpen?
It's tough. It's tough to me. The bullpen idea is an option. I don't see it as a likely option. The consideration here is what's going to matter to you down the stretch, depth or quality, because I feel like you have enough quality here that you could end up moving on from somebody if you're not worried about the depth. Long term, you want to be more focused on a David Peterson, Tyler Megill type situation. That should be part of your focus. And so when you're talking about replacing those two guys, I certainly wouldn't ever want to move on from them. I'd want to move on from a Carlos Carrasco. But when you're looking at a 38-year-old Max Scherzer, a 40-year-old Justin Verlander, even though Carrasco is 36 and could be just as susceptible to injury as anyone else, and especially more so towards the side of a Scherzer or a Verlander being susceptible to injury, I don't want to give up that stability. I don't want to give up being 7 deep when I have those options. And so at the end of the day, I might rather just take the worst of a Peterson and a Megill and then figure it out. And then figure out how to work them in the coming years or later on in the season with some call-ups and sundowns, because with that too, you have the flexibility. I wouldn't be shocked, honestly, to see a world where, maybe you do move Carlos Carrasco to a bullpen or you trade him, but that 5th spot in the rotation effectively, or that final spot would be a rotation of Peterson and Megill. They both have option years. Why put the innings on their arms? Especially when you have two guys that are pitching so well right now. I would love to see that once everybody gets healthy, where you're kind of, Brandon hates the idea of sending guys up and down like crazy, but if you can do it, why wouldn't you? And so that's something I'd like to see them explore. They've got options here. They don't have a lot of standout options past those top 2, but they've got the depth for a back end to be able to play and make some interesting stuff here.